was, this whole process of learning how to be teachable. Um, because being teachable is important, because part of being teachable, what happens is it allows you not to go through a process of learning things the hard way, and learning things based upon your own experiences, and learning things based upon struggle and hardship and pain and suffering, but learning things based upon the experience that someone else has, based upon what they've gone through. And so the important point with this, and I'll get to my main point in a minute, is that with all of us, you will go through life, and you will go through struggle and challenges in life. Part of the challenges and struggle in life, um, and it's something I mentioned in a class that I taught yesterday, is that there's certain things, certain lessons that you are supposed to learn in those challenges. If you don't learn those lessons, what happens many times is our hearts get hardened, instead of us staying soft and pliable, and staying in a place where we're willing to be open and to receive. And when we're not willing to be open and receive information, again, what it does is it stops us from growing and moving ahead a lot quicker. When people talk about adding value, value is important. It's a topic that's talked about in relationships, money, what you own, so on and so forth. But true value is measured. It's measured by money, but it's measured by, if I can show you how to make more or save more. That's how I create value for you. Same thing with time. If I can show you how to save time or make time, or condense your time to a shorter period of time, then you're going to look at what I'm trying to share with you as something of value. And now, why am I saying that? Because one of the things of with going through coaching, or going through a process of having a mentor, is that mentor, because of their experience, because of all of the time and all of the experiences and what they've gone through in their education background, and all the things that they've gone through to get to this point, has given them the experience to save you time, because they've already gone through this process. I had a coach. She had been married for 35 years or 38 years, whatever. I forget the number. But my point is, because she was married that long, her experience was similar to mine. She kind of lost. Her kids kind of sided with the husband, because she never really told her side of the story. And so she went through a lot of similar scenarios as mine. And her family was kind of against it because of the religion that they had, similar to me. And so again, all of the points that she had were points that I could pull off of, because she was a reference that had already gone through where I was at a very painful part. I was at a painful where I was in my pain. She had already passed. She had already had a breakthrough. She had already moved on. She had been past that for years. And so this is part of what I'm trying to say. So she brought extreme value to me, because she saved me time. So something that should have taken me maybe many, many years to get through, I got through a lot quicker, because I had a coach that knew what it took. And so the important part with all of this is, are you willing to be teachable? That's why that was one of the first things I mentioned. Are you willing to be teachable? And so I said that this will trigger certain people. The people that this will trigger is those that aren't teachable, those that think they have all of the answers. I found that being a business owner, and training people for jobs, and I don't like to generalize, but I'm going to do it now. Training people for jobs, and giving people responsibilities, and people doing things and they're doing it right, and people being willing to listen. I found that young men that did not have fathers in their house, they tended to be very, very independent in their mindset. And so because of that, when I would come to them as the owner, the boss, the whatever, and tell them, no, this is what I need you to do, they had a stubbornness in their mind, because they were conditioned of doing everything themselves. They're not conditioned to take an instruction from other people. But the problem with that is, when you don't learn from other people, then you have to learn all of the struggles and all of the pitfalls and all of the things that you could have just breezed through by listening. You got to learn the hard way. This is why a mentor or coach, or a person that has paid the price, is critical. They're critical to your development. They're critical to you developing and becoming what you need to become, because they've already been there and done that. Put that in the chat. Been there, done that. They've already been there and they've done that. Been there and done that. They've been there and they did it. They got the comic book, or they got the whatever. They got the pin. Been there and done that. which doesn't make them better than you. It just makes them someone that has gone through an experience that you haven't yet. And so, in order for you to get to where you need to in a timely manner to save that time, you're going to want to have someone that has the experience. And a thought comes to my mind is that and another kind of story just popped in my head was I know a local young man that's local to my area, and he's trying to become a builder. And he built a house, or he's trying to finish this house, and he's been working on this house for I don't know how many months. Let's say 7 months, 8 months. Um, and he's the type that he's very, very tight with his money. Like he don't like to spend money, and he's the type that he don't like like nobody telling him what to do. Like he don't really take instruction. And this is kind of where this thought process came from me, why I'm talking about this. And then also my class yesterday. And one of the things that I noticed is because I worked kind of with him on one project, but I work with some other guys that I'm kind of partnering and doing some things with real estate on another side. And this other guy who actually was willing to coach him or teach him, wasn't going to charge him that much, maybe like five, whatever it was. It wasn't going to be that much. Let's even say it was 10 grand. The other guy that was going to teach him, and I'm just using that as a number, he charged him 10 grand. This man right now has been on this project for, let's say, 7-8 months. By being on a project for 7 or 8 months in real estate, you're losing money and you're losing time, because the loans that you have to get for projects like that generally are hard money, or you borrowed it from a private lender. Either way, they're charging you a lot higher interest the longer the loan is out. So the goal is to get the thing done and get rid of it. Sell it, rent it, whatever you're going to do, get rid of it. This kid has been on this project for, like I said, 7-8 months, whatever the time frame is. And within that time frame, this other guy that I know that actually has learned the process, he's probably done 6 houses within that time frame. I'll say 5. I'll be conservative and say 5. The houses that the other guy that did like 5 makes is about, let's say 80 grand. Even though I know it's more, I'll say 80. 80 times 5 would be 400K. The other guy that refused to pay the 10,000, and I'm just using broad numbers, and it could be more, it could be less, it don't even matter. I'm just using this as an example. The other guy that's in this, I'll do it myself and I don't need no help and so on and so forth. And the other person that's not willing to get a mentor or a teacher, it's taken him 7 months or almost 8 months to do something that someone else that got the mentorship, the coaching or whatever, learned what they needed to learn. They're doing 5 or 6 projects right now at the same time. And this other person is doing one. The other person that's doing the one project, he might make by the time he's done, because of all of the time, because value in something, how you create value for someone is you're saving them time, or you're saving them money. He's not saving time or money because he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's dragging out something that could have already been done. As a builder, and I'm just using this as an example, when I was building homes, building for myself, even kind of custom homes, I would be done between 90 to 120 days from the date I broke that ground, because I knew what I was doing. I knew how to manage people. I was coachable. And this is the reason for this video. If you're coachable, if you're the type of person that's willing to learn and grasp and grab a hold of information. And see, I learned about being a coachable because of my dad and my grandfather, but I also learned it because I had other people that kind of came into my life as far as mentors that just kind of popped into my life at different times when I wasn't even expecting them. I had one man in particular. He was an older German guy, and he was one of the larger real estate guys in our area. And I was a new guy that was starting a construction company, and he would throw me work. And in the process of this, over time, this man found favor in me because I was grinding, I was out there, I was hustling, I was doing what I needed to do, take care of my family, and so on and so forth. And so this man found favor in me. And so what he would do over a period of time, and I talk about this periodically, is that he started, go to lunch with me. I want to talk to you. And so he would sit me down. He would start talking to me at lunch. And one of the things that I did unconsciously, because of where my heart was, because my heart wasn't a heart of trying to get something for nothing. My heart was a heart that I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn what he did to get where he got or who he had gotten. I didn't want nothing from him. I didn't need any money or I wanted to learn what this man knew because I felt like if he taught me or if I saw it or if I put my hands on it, then what he did, I can do the same thing. I don't feel like any person is any greater than me. So if I see you do it, I'm a mechanical person. If I put my eyes on what you're doing, whether it's watching a video on YouTube, to put my hands on it and do it myself, I'm going to figure it out. And so, because I understand and know myself enough to know that I'm a mechanical person, I felt like if he taught me real estate, then I was going to know that game. And so, in the process of him teaching me this, what it did was it showed me the benefit of having a person in your life as a coach or as a point of reference. Because anything that I came up against, I could call him and say, hey, Joe, such and such and such. What do you think about that? What would you do about that? Because he had already been down the road. He said, "Oh, that's not a big deal. Just call ABC 123 and then do ABC." And so something that I was making a big deal out of and I was freaking out and going crazy, it was nothing to him because he had already been down the road. And so my point with this few minutes that I'm sharing with you is it's so much easier to learn something and go through something when you have someone that has already been down the road. I had a mentor that helped coach me after going through my divorce and starting my life over. I had a mentor that helped me through that process. She was my coach. And matter of fact, it was a blessing that she was a woman because I was kind of bitter against women based upon my divorce. So everything it just enhanced and made everything better. Plus, she spoke to me from the view of a woman's femininity and the way women think. I'm a man. I don't think like a woman. I'm not trying to think like a woman. But I needed to understand. And so what it did was it gave me a glimpse into possibly how the person that I was with at that time, how they were thinking. And so what it did was it gave me a level of compassion and a level of understanding. And so that's kind of all I wanted to share with y'all. I just want to share a couple of stories and just allow y'all to understand, those that watch this, to understand that value, the true value of what you're going to get out of life is going to come based upon, are you helping to create something? Are you helping to are you in the place of allowing someone to learn something that's going to get them the desired result? The desired result I allow or I'm able to help my clients get based upon my experience of being married for 30 years and then the marriage failing and know that I didn't do. This is part of the reason why I wrote this book, because of the experience. I didn't write it based upon just writing a book. I wrote it based upon that being in that relationship for all of those years, and the experiences that I learned. It allowed me to write a story about it because I was journaling. I was writing every day anyway, and so through the journaling, it allowed me to get a glimpse of a story that I could share with other people. So again, a way that they could take the coaching or the information and take their life to the next level. They could get out of that place of trying to figure out how to grasp this relationship and should they stay in it or should they go, or is this a healthy relationship or is it toxic or and all the other questions that we have as people, you know because at some point, there's decisions that have to be made with all of us. Should we stay in something, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's whatever? And that is a hard decision that many have to make. And it's also one of the hardest decisions of breaking apart that many have to end up make. But sometimes people, places, and things have run a course within our lives to get us to a point. That doesn't mean that they're bad people. That just means that this thing has run its course. It's run the time, the gamut, and the scope of how far it's supposed to run. And now it's time for us to move our lives on to another direction. And that's basically what I want to share with y'all tonight. Y'all have any questions? And for those that are just tuning in here, let me know what state you're tuning in from. But basically tonight, I'm just sharing with y'all real quick, just a real quick thought of how important it is to get the coaching or get someone in your life that can give you that important information that you need. How you doing, Mirrors and Memories? That get you that important the information that you need when you need it. Someone that you can reach out to and call. I now, because coaching is different and mentorship is different, back at mentors that I would meet them. Generally, they were someone that was a little bit older and they were retiring from something. Like myself, I retired from real estate, basically retired from real estate and construction. So any guy that got a hold of me now, it would be the smartest time for him if he's like 20 or something, because my sons aren't interested in what that part of what I learned and what I know. And plus, I taught them all of that. So if they wanted to do it, they could do it. So any other young man that wanted to learn that, I would be the perfect person for him to look at and him to kind of mirror, because I already know what to do. I know how he can go from being a general contractor to end up getting himself to a point where he can become an actual new home builder, an investor, real estate, all that stuff, all of the little nuances, and I could teach him all of that stuff. And not that I'm offering that, but I'm just saying that's how I met my mentors. They were in. But now mentors are online. They're all over the place. So now it's the process of finding someone that you resonate with, that has fruit on the tree, that you show that shows that they're serious about what they're doing, and just kind of taking your time and getting involved with the coaching, getting involved with the program that they have. One of the things that I established recently that I didn't have before is I put together a 30-day comprehensive program for people that are in my new coaching program that I started, and it's tailored to each person's needs. And so what it allows that person to do is get a specific set of things that they need to do daily to get themselves in a better position. Because right now we're in a recession of people, or I'll say we're in an epidemic of people saying that they're healed or they're healing, and a lot of people that are saying that they're healed and they're healing. And I'm not, and to say what I'm about to say, I will be judging, and they're not healing, because if you've gone through healing, you know what healing looks like. They're still toxic and chaotic. That's not healing. They're still involved with pettiness, and they're still involved with a lot of things, which is showing that this is not a person that is healed. I say that in a bold way, because if you've gone through healing and you've suffered and struggled through it, you know what it looks like. You know what it looks like versus what it doesn't look like. It's easy to talk it because it's a hot topic, and people talk it. People talk it. Oh, I'm healing. I'm on my healing journey. It's like the hot thing to say. Oh, I'm on my healing journey. I'm alone and I'm not with nobody. But what are you doing with your time alone? Are you dedicating yourself? Are you finding, or do you know the way that you can get your nervous system back into a healthy state? Do you know certain body movements that you can do to start getting your endorphins and certain conditioning your mind back in a healthy state? Because you have to. If you were in an extremely toxic relationship, your emotions are like this, because the relationship was up and down like this, and you were always on edge because you were with a person that was very unhealthy. And the more unhealthy they were, the more up and down emotionally you were, because you had to watch everything you said, every little action that you did, every little thing offended them. They always complained about every little thing. And if you were a people pleaser, you were trying to do everything to please them. Come on, say that's true in the chat. Say that's true in the comments. If you're a people pleaser, you were trying to do everything to please them, instead of understanding that you need to set some healthy boundaries. And then also you need to understand that this person is showing you. Yeah, yeah. And so triggers are there to show us things that we have to grow in, y'all. That's why I started this whole title with, this is going to trigger you. Triggers are there to show us things that we have to grow in. It does not offend me when people talk about me all the time, and then it actually does, but I don't care. I don't care, because I'm not invested in what you think or what people think or feel. If I was invested in what people think or feel, I would not have written a book. And I'm not an author. I'm a construction guy and a real estate guy. But I don't care. My mindset is I'm going to do the things that I feel like I'm directed to do, because I know that it's going to help so many people all over the world, because other people are going to see the ambition and the mentality that I was willing to have, in spite of maybe what they would consider my I don't know, discrepancies or deficiencies, whatever word they want to use. It doesn't matter. But my point is, not every person we meet is healed. Some of the most toxic people, or some of the most unhealthy people you're going to meet, are going to present themselves as healthy when you first meet them. They're going to know all of the jargon. You be careful of all the people that know all of the jargon that's being spoken of today. Narcissist, manipulation. Be careful of all the people that talk all that stuff all the time. Be careful. Be very, very careful. Be careful of another thing that you got to be careful of is people. I find that there's a lot of people that when you first meet them, they give you all these things and do all these things for you. That's the way that people use deeds and giving of things to you to get you to like them, to get you to open up your heart to them, to get you to think that they're a good person. And all that it is part of a scheme that they put together. It's part of a scheme because they're scammers. They're the type of people that they do these things. They do the good in the front because in the back end, they're going to set you up and try to get you to do something in the back end because they're users. It's one thing to go through difficulties and learn from it and heal, but there's some people that go through difficulties. They don't learn from it. They become bitter. They become full of anger, rage. And then what they do is they go out and they become the type of people that are out there attacking and trying to destroy and hurt and harm other people. And the only time they can see when something is something isn't right is if they feel like somebody's done something to them. If they can't take any accountability for their actions, I have a person that texts me pretty periodically on and off, and everything they text me is always about them and them being a victim. The one thing about me and people that can claim themselves to be a victim, I will stand 10 toes down and stand in full agreement with you in your victimhood. You want to be a victim, you be a victim. I can't relate to being a victim. If you want to get me angry, try to make me a victim. That's when you'll see a side of me that you won't like. Because I'm not a victim. I know who I am. I'm a child of the Most High. I'm created in the image of the Creator. So anything that I need or anything that I desire is mine. Over a period of time and over work and over effort and over, learning and so on and so forth, I'm not a victim. Anything I do, I made the decision to do it. Whether it's date someone, whether it's be in that marriage, whether it's start that business, whether it's whatever has happened, it was directly connected to decisions that I made. When you can stand up as a man or as a woman or as a child or as whomever you are and say that, you know what, I made this decision and I'm going to stand on this decision. Because through this process, we should be able to make wiser decisions based upon making bad decisions. Come on, guys. We should be able to make wiser decisions because of the pain of them making that bad decision should be enough that we should learn and say, you know what, I'll never be in this position again. That's why if I'm dating someone and I start seeing certain signs and I start feeling certain things, automatically, I'm out. I'm gone. Because I don't have to. I made decisions. I'm making decisions for my life and for myself. It's not Renee's responsibility. It's not Mira's responsibility. It's not anybody else's that's in here that's sitting in the chat's responsibility. It's my responsibility. Michael Jackson said it best. You have to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and ask them to change their ways. The change is going to start with you. It's not going to start with anybody else. It's going to start with you. And you believing that regardless of what limitations other people say and feel and believe, that you're not going to be limited by other people's, because you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're made in the image of the Most High. And there's nothing that you can't do. No matter what everybody else can do, there's nothing that you can't do. And that's what you believe. And that's what your reality is. That's the thing that you're manifesting. That's how you're manifesting. If you can imagine with me, that's how you're manifesting that relationship that you want, that healthy relationship. That's how you're manifesting the income that you want. That's how you're manifesting getting your time back and seeing yourself in a place where you can enjoy life, where it's not all the stress and it's not all the hardship and it's not all the ripping and running and all the chaos, but you're in a place of peace and solitude and comfort, and you're with a person that honors you. Imagine that. Imagine you're with a person that honors you and respects you, and they treat you with a loving mannerism, that they're not nitpicking everything that you do, and they're not complaining about everything. And that they don't get so angry and discouraged and pissed when you don't do every little perfect thing that's right, because they understand that you're a human being. but that they're compassionate to you. And not only that, but they understand what the vows mean. They understand what it means to love you and to honor you and to cherish you, to set you in high esteem, to lift you up in high esteem above anybody else, because you two have built that type of a bond that you can kind of understand what each other is thinking before you say it, because you built a bond beyond just your sexual chemistry and your physical intimacy. But you built a bond because both have shown each other that you are safe spaces. Of course, nobody's perfect. This nobody is perfect. And so because of that, you got to have a partner that understands that there's going to be little quirks and things about you that they may not be used to, but they can't don't make a big deal out of it. It's part of who that person is, enjoy them for who they are. Cherish them for who they are. If we're trying to remake someone instead of accepting who they are, do we really want that person? Or do we want the person that we're forming and we're trying to make? That would be my question. And so I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. I try to get on here every week, but my schedule, y'all, I'm telling you, my schedule is bananas. It's crazy. So the days that I'm not, because I'm doing. Yeah, me too, Mirrors. I want mine flaws and all. I don't care. I want her femininity. I want her beauty. I want her intelligence. I want her smart mouth. Sometimes I want it all. I want her sexiness. I want it all. I ain't gonna settle for anything less, because I don't have to make no decisions. I do what I want to do. And so yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, I had a really good class because I'm doing a webinar once a week. And so again, my schedule is packed because of I'm doing things in real estate and construction in the morning with a friend of mine, and then nights like this, I'm either doing something like this, or I'm teaching a class, or I'm on a coaching call. So I'm early in the morning till 8, 9 o'clock at night, or whatever. And times my schedule is just packed, depending on because with those web classes, I get a lot of people. They book calls in my calendar, and a lot of them are afternoons and nights. So depending on my schedule, I'm going to try to jump in here as many days as I can, because I like this whole YouTube thing compared to when I was on TikTok, because I feel like there's more longevity to YouTube than there is to TikTok and all these other things that are out there. And I just wanted to build a different audience, so I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. If you have any questions, or if you didn't get a chance, go watch this video from the beginning, because it's going to teach you, it's going to show you the importance of the mentors, the people that are in your life that can help you get from where you are. If you have a good mentor or a good coach, they're going to help you save time, and they're going to help you save money, and they're going to help you get to your destination a lot quicker. And I talk about that in detail in this 30 minutes that we've been together. Just share with you some of the stories that I went through, and some of the stuff I'm talking to you is about real estate, because I'm a real estate investor, or a guy that owns a real estate company, but also I'm a certified relationship trauma coach based upon my own relationship and certification through John Maxwell, and so on and so forth. And through that process, I ended up writing a book. Going through a divorce after being married for decades, I ended up writing a book because I did a lot of journaling. If you want to, you can go pick the book up on Amazon. It tells my story, but it also tells the process of getting out of the pain of your own minds and going through grief. It teaches you how to go through grief in a gentle